This conference will now be recorded.
So before we jump into everything from today, I want to check in with you guys. I have seen a lot of activity in the group chat, which has had me super excited. And a lot of you have been reaching out personally. So I feel like we've been doing pretty good at keeping in touch. But I want to just kind of do a quick review and check in and see how the past week has gone for everyone. Does anyone want to volunteer to share, or do we want to dive in with any questions? Sure, Tracy. Yeah, and then we'll go to Sarah.
Texted you about feeling like I wasn't like trying to connect with my own relatives in spirit was felt like I was just having memories. And
Oh, I can only kind of hear you. It's kind of like coming in and out.
hold on a sec. Is it better now?
I'm not sure.
Hold on, let me unplug.
Can't hear you.
Let me try this.
I think we heard you.
Okay, is it working?
Yep. There you are.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. See if I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. All right. Now it's all. Sorry about that. Okay. Um. So, so I was thinking as I think I was overthinking and connecting with um, my own relatives in spirit was making it seem like I was just remembering things more than anything else. So so you suggested that I ask friends if I could, contact theirs. So my friend that I work with had lost her mom. So last night I did a connection with her. And so at first things seemed normal things like, showing me her baby and, and the dog and the love and things like that. And then things came in like brother haircut. And I'm like, okay, that's really weird. I don't know what that means. But then when I told her to talk to her today about it, she was like, oh my gosh, my brother is so weird about his haircuts. He only gets a cut on the new moon and all this stuff. And so it totally made sense to her. So everything that I told her made sense to her. And
Love.
that was very reassuring.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's super exciting. And, when we do connect with our own loved ones, that's why, last week I had you guys connect with your own loved one first and then someone that you didn't know, because there is a difference. And so with your own loved ones, they don't come in with all those validations because you already know everything. So when you connect with someone else's loved ones, it's a whole different experience, and trusting what comes in, even if it doesn't make sense to you. That's the most important part. You're just trusting what comes about because, as you see, it makes sense to the person you're talking to. So that's awesome. Very good.
Yeah,
Thank you for
very cool.
sharing. Okay, who did I say? Oh, Sarah. I was like, who did I say next?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So, what I wanted to say was it's so funny how I've heard you say so many times, like, trust your gut, trust your gut, trust your gut, trust your gut. And I felt like I understood what that meant until I had to connect with loved ones that I didn't necessarily have that validation for. And it's so funny how, like, when I'm connected, without a shadow of a doubt, I believe what I'm hearing. Like, oh, okay, so whatever, I can't even think of anything off the top of my head, but whatever they tell me, if it's like blue duck, okay, blue duck, got it. When I come out of that, I question if I really understood that so quickly.
Mhm.
It's almost instantaneous, and I've really struggled with that this week. It's almost become a point of contention. Like, I'm really struggling getting over that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and the other thing I think is really interesting is I don't know about anybody else, but the I feel like the more I open up and the more I connect, the more the rest of my life starts to like go to shit in areas and just kind of like create chaos. And before, where I would react really emotionally to all that, I'm just kind of watching it from the sidelines. I'm like, all right, let it burn. It's fine.
Yep.
Just everything
Yep.
will be fine.
And
So I
I
think,
I mean, this is just a guess. I can't say for sure, but just speaking from my own experience, when you're really starting to work on your relationship with being able to trust yourself, trust spirit, trust the unknown, trust being out of control, I think universe is kind of like, all right, well, let's see. How are you going to handle this? And then you kind of have to be like, I'm just going to observe because I'm not in control. So yeah, that makes sense why it kind of goes hand in hand. But I like that you're recognizing, you're trusting while you're in connection. And then as soon as you come out of that, bam, there's that ego. So yeah, that's awesome. So very good. Thanks for sharing. I love it. Okay. Anyone else want to volunteer? Share? Haley, sure.
I think, okay, I'll share. Okay, so it's interesting you're saying what you're saying here. So I went to Broken Bow this past weekend, and it was really nice to kind of step away and kind of quiet my mind. And I was with a group of friends. And I think for me, I've kind of put up a wall when it comes to a lot of this. I think from past trauma, maybe. I don't know. I'm figuring all that out. But what was really, really, really interesting, and I won't share everything that happened because there were several things that happened that were really, really cool. But I lost my father when I was 9, and I was talking to one of the gentlemen that was with us. There were 3 couples that were with us, and we started in on some conversation about my dad, and kind of he asked me, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you going through? You're going through something right now, and everybody around me knows I am. And it's cool. So anyway, so I kind of just started talking to him, and he just kind of unloaded on me in a very good way. He basically, I mean, at the end of it, I was like, I feel like you're Ashley. Like, you're sitting here telling me everything that she's teaching us. It's crazy. And I'm like, who are you and where did you come from? Like, I don't feel like my Mondo is sitting next to me. Like, this is so crazy. But he's like, Haley, like I get it. Like, and I think that he's on the same level, which
Yeah.
was really, really cool. So his sister or his cousin actually passed away on Good Friday while we were out there, and huge trees everywhere. And I was riding down a 4-wheeler. This huge yellow butterfly just rode right beside me, and I talked to it the whole time. And then it took off, went over the water, and then it came back, and it came to him. And he felt like that was his cousin that had passed away. So that was really cool, and that was really neat to talk about. And I think that, I'm being more open to seeing those things in the moment. But the craziest thing happened to me shortly after that conversation. All the kids are outside, and there's 3 adult women inside, and I look upstairs in the upstairs window, and I see basically it it happened really quick, but I see like a child being set down, and then the backside of maybe like a shorter man, haircut, white gentleman. And so I go inside, and there's a little bitty girl that's with us. And so I go inside, and I'm like, Hollis, I saw you playing peekaboo with me upstairs. And everybody looks at me like, no, we haven't been upstairs. And I'm like, there's nobody upstairs? No, nobody upstairs. And I was like, wow, I totally just saw something.
Yeah.
I totally just saw something. And that is the first time in my life, whether maybe I've never recognized it before. And a lot of this is centering around my father that I'm going through personally, but it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I feel like, just like what you said, like I'm starting to really be in touch with myself on a daily basis and take that time for me and be quiet. And sometimes I feel like I'm connecting, sometimes maybe not, but I feel like I'm letting those walls down and something like that happen.
I'm so excited. That just makes me so happy. And, that's why I really push the importance of that self-awareness, because it's all those little moments that add up to the bigger connection. And as far as, that person who you feel was kind of like on your same level, when you heal and you open up, you become like a magnet for the same type of people in your life. So that's why I'm pushing like you guys to connect, and then you'll notice that, you start to attract like-minded people because, you're kind of vibrating at a similar level. So
it was crazy. And I wasn't scared, actually. That's what, like, I wasn't scared at all. It didn't scare me.
That's awesome. Whereas
cool.
what if it scared you before?
I mean, I think I've had a fear of seeing something,
Yeah.
You know, I've had a fear of that because I've had people in my past that have actually seen
Yeah.
a figure or something. And recently, my mother-in-law, who is nowhere near this level, saw a lady walk through the room that wasn't there. And
Mm.
that was after the first week that we started here. And she said something to me, and she had no idea I was going through any of this with you guys. You
Yeah.
know, so it's been really, really interesting. And I hope my mind just continues to open up like that. So thank all of y'all, because engaging on that chat is really pretty cool too.
I love
So
it.
I like to watch it.
And as long as you are dedicated and you're making the time for it, not perfection, but you're making the time for it as often as you can, you'll definitely continue to see growth. So I'm
Letting
so,
that fear go, I think, is, you know,
yeah, that's
just
huge. Yep. Very good. Well, thank you for sharing. I'm
thank
super
you.
excited for you.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to share? Isabella.
So it's more of a question
Okay.
actually, and this is something that I've noticed for a while. And for me, I really like to use cards like oracle cards, tarot cards, and stuff, like whether I'm reading for myself or for somebody else. But one thing that I've been noticing, and I thought I would already be over this because I've been doing this for maybe like a year and a half with the cards and stuff. But like when it comes to like somebody else, like I'm trying to trust all the information that comes to me, but for some reason I feel like the logical and analytical side of my brain like blocks anything from coming through. So I just draw like complete blank, and I'm like really like struggling to like kind of grasp like some type of intuitive information. I mean, it comes out eventually, but it's like nothing like how I want it to come out. It's not
Yeah.
like super fluent, and I'm kind of like stuttering over words almost, like trying to think of like, okay, like how should I put this, or like what else can I say? So I was kind of like looking for advice to how to get over that, or does that just still come in
So
time?
it definitely does come in time. But so there's a couple different things here. When we're talking about like using whether it's tarot cards, oracle cards, or whatever, of course you want to make sure that you're very comfortable with your deck, to where you're not having to refer to the book all the time. You can look at something, get your own intuitive knowing of what that card means or what it represents. But it sounds like you're having trouble kind of like you said, getting past the logical part of your brain and just listening to the intuitive part. So I'm not saying don't use cards, but I would spend more time tapping into your intuition without any sort of tool, without the cards, without a pendulum, without, anything else, because then you have no other option than to just go into that intuitive knowing, into those intuitive feelings, and kind of go from there. And if you feel like you're kind of stuttering over your words, maybe write down what's coming through first and then relay it. And that could be a good practice to just get you in that flow of letting the intuitiveness flow. And then you can go back and relay, okay, this is what came through. Because, if you're reading it, your brain can't kind of get in the way. So if you're just writing, it kind of is similar to like that automatic writing where you're just getting in the flow of letting whatever comes in come in. But it takes away the pressure of trying to figure out a way to word it in the moment during a conversation with somebody. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, I would say don't ever not use your cards again, but maybe just kind of take a step back from them and get more into the intuitiveness, and then use the cards when you feel you're better at listening to that intuitive side of you.
Okay, yeah, because even in the beginning of this journey, it was like I was just like flocking to cards and stuff instead of just like trusting what was like coming through. I feel like that's probably where it's like a little bit fuzzy for
Yep.
me.
Yep.
And
And
it's scary for me to do it without the cards. I'm just like, I'm like, I don't know what's coming through. Like,
because that's a trust issue with yourself. That's a trust issue with your abilities. The cards kind of give you this validation or this secondary source of information, whereas if you don't have the cards, you really just have to rely on your connection with you and your connection with spirit.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Right. Thank you.
you're welcome. Let me see. Hold on. I just saw in the chat. Am I still frozen for people? Were people experiencing? No? Okay. Okay. I'm shivering. Can I hold on one second? Let me grab a sweater because I can't focus right now. Hold on one second. Okay. I don't know how I'm shivering. It's like 80 degrees outside, but somehow I am freezing. Okay. All right. Well, that looks weird. Oh, well. So, okay, so very good. So I'm glad that you guys shared and kind of gave some insight as to how your week's been going. And I know I'm not chiming in a whole lot in that group text, but that's really because I want you guys to interact with one another. But trust me, I am reading and I'm looking at everything that comes through. And I'm super proud of all of you. So whether you've been connecting privately, whether you've been connecting with your own people, or in that group chat, either way, like awesome job. Does anyone have any questions about this past week or anything that you want to kind of ask before we jump into this week? Yeah, Amanda.
I feel like a lot of, I'm sorry, I was sick, so I sound like absolute garbage. I feel like a lot of the things I get are like random, like I don't, like I know they're messages and like there are things people are able to like give validations to, but it doesn't feel like any sort of messages to them. Does that make sense? Like I'll get like an object or I'll get like this one little thing, but it never feels like a message. Like I
Yeah.
remember you told me a relative said that like they were proud of me or like they were, sorry they didn't get to do this or whatever. Like I don't get that. I just like, does that just come with time? Because I feel like I'm just getting like objects or I'll get like an
Well,
activity.
right now, it's more about just getting yourself in that receptive space so that you can recognize what comes through. And then as we go through the coming weeks, we're going to start with it today. We'll start learning how to kind of put things together more so that you can go in a bit deeper. And okay, if I'm seeing a book, okay, why am I seeing the book? What's the story behind it, or what's the message behind it, or who's it connected to? Kind of getting additional puzzle pieces. But for last week, it was really important to just get you in that space of being able to trust what you're getting without necessarily understanding it, but just, okay, this is what I get, I'm going to relay it. And then this week, we'll start kind of adding on to that. And by the end of the 6 weeks, you should definitely be feeling really good about getting that flow that we want to get in a reading.
Okay.
Yep, very good. Emotion, yes. And then we'll go to Sarah.
I just want to say real quick, I tried the filming thing,
Yeah.
and it was crazy. It actually worked. I was filming the sky first just because there was a ring around the moon, and I was like, oh, cool, look at the ring around the moon. And then I started noticing an orb, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then, like, I put the camera down, nothing's there. I put it up, it's there. I turned off all the lights. Like, I did everything to change it to make it go away, and it wouldn't. So then I remembered and I was like, oh, okay, this is a good meditation time. And then like I was like, let me keep my camera filming. And I kept my camera filming. And then I closed my eyes because I'm like, let me try the close my eyes thing. And I was like I wanted to picture my grandfather's face, and I was like, show me your face. Of course, nothing happened with my eyes closed. And then when I opened my eyes, the clouds had made a face, and it was filming the whole time. And then I was like, oh my God, because the face was like evil. I was like, I don't like that face. And it started changing. So then it like went from a scary face to like one I was like, oh, okay, I like that. And then it started looking like cute animal faces. But the amazing thing was I filmed the whole thing, just like you had suggested. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, I think the filming is really cool because, if you film yourself when you're in a meditative state, you can kind of watch, for different things that you do or different things that kind of happen, twitches or whatever when you start to make that connection with spirit. And then being able to like see things when you look in the clouds or, for me, a lot of times if I look at like tile, I can see shapes and things too, or faces. And that's definitely a sign of clairvoyance, where you can just kind of look and you begin to kind of see things that other people were like, nope, I just see clouds. So that's a good sign. It's a sign that your clairvoyance is probably starting to open up a bit, which is good because that's what you asked. You wanted to see your grandfather's face. So sounds like you're getting there. So very cool, very good. Sarah.
So I struggled a lot this week with connecting to other loved ones for messages or validations. And
Okay.
I struggled by way of like, as soon as I would connect with my higher self, I would get stuck there. Like I wouldn't be able to, it was almost getting like downloads in that type of space
Okay.
and not being able to connect with anything else. Do you know what I'm saying?
So are you talking about like trying to connect with your own loved ones or trying to connect with other people's loved ones?
Even other people's loved ones. So like
Okay.
I thought it was just, maybe the pressure of being in front of someone.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll just do it in my own time and I'll send you a message. And even then I get stuck in this higher self like in between and I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. So when we go to connect to do a reading, so the medium is definitely like we're here, right? We have our sitter, which is the person we're reading for, and then we have spirit. So when we're reading for someone else, we don't necessarily, of course, we want to get into like a vibration similar to what we would be in when we're connecting with our higher self, but we don't necessarily have to connect with our higher self before we connect with someone else.
Right.
The higher self typically comes in play if we're trying to do like a mediumship reading for ourselves because there is no sitter. So we then become the medium and the sitter. But what's interesting when you say that? So when I first started, and even now, it's not as often, but when I first started doing mediumship, a lot of the times the validations or the messages that were coming from someone else's loved ones, it's almost like it would get filtered through my guides and my guides would give it to me because that's what I was more comfortable with.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that's what's happening with you. There's probably some sort of unconscious, or maybe you're aware of it, sort of fear there about connecting with something outside of yourself. So when you connect with your higher self, you're comfortable.
That's
So
that's kind of what, because even when you were talking, I even heard something say like a mediator. Like
yeah,
they're gonna sit down like with like a third party.
yep.
It's so funny you say that. Like I just want to start laughing because it's exactly what I heard. Why?
I
Like
think it's just you have to get really comfortable with your connection with spirit and really comfortable with being out of control because you don't know who's coming through, what they're going to be like when they show up, how they're going to communicate, if you're going to be able to connect with them. So there's a lot of unknown variables. And for someone who really likes to be in control, it's going to be harder to just be like, you know what? Okay. But I think the more and more that you do it, you'll start to notice you shift away from that and you get more comfortable just connecting directly to whoever you're trying to connect to or whoever's coming through rather than having to filter it through your higher self or your spirit guides.
okay.
So
I
I think
might have to pick your brain more about how to move through this then because I don't want to
I'm
take up
going
too
through the
much.
same thing, Sarah.
You're doing the same
When
thing?
it,
Wait.
I had a coworker come up to me today, and she just randomly started talking about her brother that passed away, and then all of a sudden, I was like, car accident, like
yeah.
fire, like I knew instantly
Yeah.
when I was trying to connect, like, I think, what wasn't it you? Was it your grandmother? It was somebody's grandmother. I can't remember, but I was like, I think I was just too much in my own head, like ego, and I was sort of feeling maybe like I have to get this right. I have to get this right. But then when my coworker came up to me, I was just like, it just came to me. So I'm going through the same thing. You're not alone.
Thank
So
God.
yeah, it's normal. And it is going to be one of those things where practice makes perfect. So you guys just like keep at it, keep showing up, keep focusing on that trust. And eventually you will. Your guides will kind of, or your higher self will kind of take a step back, and it'll just be you connecting when you're intentionally trying to connect, or sometimes when you're not, like Lauren. It's just whoop, here it is. So yeah, it's very, very normal. I don't think you're doing anything wrong. It's just keep at it, keep like chipping away at it. Very good. Okay, so I want to jump into this week because there's a lot that I want to cover. And then I'm also going to have you doing a connection with spirit today. But last time I had you connect for just like 3 to 5 minutes. This time we're going to try to hold it for at least 10. So we're going to kind of lengthen the period of time that you're sitting with spirit. And we're also going to go over some of the things that we want to look for in our connection, because if you're wanting to read, you know, it's important to be able to get certain types of information from spirit to help with that flow of the reading that we want to eventually get to. But the first thing that I really think we need to talk about, because I think almost everyone messaged me at some point over this week and has said something along these lines to me, ever since our last meeting last week, a lot of people have said, I can't turn it off. Like there's an overabundance of information coming in, or I'm hearing too many voices, or I feel very anxious and I don't know how to move past that. And it's like a lot of people. So, and that is normal. And so I want to first talk about the importance of like grounding yourself and the importance of reclaiming your energy. So in the exercise that we did last week, you remember how I had you open up that bubble, and then when we were done, we reclaimed the bubble, it kind of went back down into us. That is a good exercise to help you visualize literally like taking your energy back. This is mine, I'm reclaiming it. And then we had also cut the cords, right? We cut the cords from the top of our head, from the soles of our feet, and this was to disconnect us from who we were connected to. Now you can ground, you can reclaim your energy in any way you want. You can visualize it however you want. You can feel it however you want. You know, there's no right or wrong way to do it. But what it comes down to is really the intention behind it. So we know that we want to ground ourselves before we go into a reading, because we need to become that anchor. We need to be in the middle, right? So we need to ground ourselves down here, and then we raise our vibration up so that we can really be that middle connection. But once a reading is over, it's important to disconnect. Otherwise, you're still connected to all sorts of energy up there, and spirit's like, hey, her door's still open, or hey, they're, you know, they're still interested in connecting. And so you're going to get a lot more. So disconnecting after a reading is really important. Grounding yourself again after a reading or at the end of the day is important, because it brings you back down into your body. It brings you back down into your present moment. It brings you back down to this earthly plane. And that doesn't mean that you can't still have this higher understanding, this higher connection to where you're trusting more, but we can't live up here because we still physically exist. So we have to make sure that we are grounding and we're remembering to come back down into our body. There are a lot of, if you like the guided meditations, there are a ton of grounding guided meditations that you can find online. If you like to just sit in the power and like visualize it, if you want to just like go outside and connect with the earth, again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Just set the intention of really coming back down into your body, feeling your self-awareness, and connecting with the earth. And then the reclaiming of your energy. When we connect to spirit, whether that's someone else's loved ones, our spirit guides, our higher self, divine source energy, God, whatever, universe, whoever it is that you're connecting to, it does take quite a bit of your energy. And that's why a lot of people will feel drained. They'll have headaches. I read somewhere that, I don't remember where I read it, but I read somewhere that they did a study on psychics or mediums. And after they had connected for X amount of time, it's like they had burned the same number of calories as someone who had run for X amount of time. And I was like, oh, well, look at me. See, I'm exercising. I'm not even moving. So, you know, if it takes energy from you, and it's important to reclaim that energy so you don't have all of these little like energetic ties or energetic connections kind of going out. Because if you think about it, every person that you interact with, every person you talk to, every person you think about, every person you have in your life, you already have an energetic connection to them. So there's already a lot going out. And then you add spirit into the mix, and you're going to end up very drained. You're going to end up absorbing a lot of what is not yours, whether that's from people, whether that's from spirit. It's like all of these little energetic cords are just out there for the world. And so we need to reclaim it. I am so cold. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I'm about to text my husband and be like, if you don't turn off the air conditioner. So we have all of these little energetic cords going out from us. And so if we don't reclaim them, we're going to feel overwhelmed because we're going to be absorbing all these emotions, all these thoughts, all these feelings that just don't belong to us. So when we reclaim our energy, again, there's really no wrong or right way to do it. It's about the intention behind it. So you can do that bubble visualization like we did in last week. You can find a guided meditation if that's what you like. A lot of times I'll just sit with my eyes closed and out loud, I'll just say, I thank spirit for their wonderful connections, or, whatever happened to me that day, I show gratitude. And then I say, now I'd like to reclaim my energy, release everything and anyone that does not belong to me or is not meant to serve my highest good. I now detach from all outside energy sources. And I really just envision that energy coming back down into myself. I take a couple deep breaths and I feel it. But again, you can do it however you want. I know a lot of people like to do it. They take a bath, they cleanse, they envision cleansing away everything that doesn't belong to them. No right or wrong way to do it, but make sure, especially, I mean, it's important to do every day, but especially on days where you are connecting to spirit, that you take time to reclaim your energy and ground yourself. Otherwise, it's going to build up and you are just going to be like, I don't know what's going on. I'm anxious. I can't focus. I'm drained. I'm not feeling good. And there's going to be all these things going on where you start to just feel like you don't have time for spirit anymore because you're connected to too many things. So does anyone have any questions about grounding? Does anyone have any questions about like reclaiming your energy? Yeah, Tracy. Oh, I can't hear you. I can see you talking, but I can't hear you. Mm-mm. Nope.
Here we go.
Oh, there you are.
Okay, how about now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Um, I used the energy bubble to give myself boundaries from the kids at school.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tuesday after break, we went back and it was horrible. It was the way you're describing how everybody would feel after, with all the energy out there, but that's how I felt at work after work. So I used that bubble and set the intention that only positive energy could come in and that negative energy would stay out. And the last 2 days have been so much better. And I can deal with the kids and whatever they're bringing at me, and it's not affecting me.
Yeah.
It's not coming in. It's just, it's like at arm's length. So I can see it from a distance instead of before. They were just like, I felt like in there, they just all had their energy sucking out of me. I could do nothing about it. And so I was part of the problem. I couldn't help them resolve their problems. So in that sense, it really does work for sure. Because I haven't had that. I've been, that was my biggest issue, not spirit.
I love that you use that example because it is true. When you set the intention to set a boundary, reclaim your energy, it's not only for spirit, it's for those here in this world too, in this life too. So it really is, it's the intention behind you, whatever you're doing, however you do it. So that's really cool. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, anyone else? Questions, thoughts, concerns about grounding or reclaiming energy? Okay, all right, so let me see. All right, good. So I think we talked a little bit, but I don't think I went too much in depth with it last week about having some sort of ritual or some sort of practice that you do every single time you go to connect, whether that's with someone else, with your own loved ones, with your higher self, with your guides, whoever. Remember, spirit is just kind of that all-encompassing word for everything and everyone in spirit. So when you're making time to connect with spirit, it is important to have a ritual or practice something, because what it does is it helps to get you into that mindset and into that space that you want to be in every time you connect. So for some people, that's going to be meditation, prayer, grounding. For some people, that's going to be like they have to journal before they do it, you know, kind of do like a brain dump, maybe pull some cards, and that helps you to get in the space. Again, it's to each their own, no right or wrong way to do it. But like for me, every time I go to really connect with spirit, not just if I'm out and about and something comes through real quick, but before I do a reading, before I sit down and connect with something for myself, before I do a meditation, I always light my candle, invite my spirit guides in. I have, you know, I'll sit, I'll take some deep breaths, I'll put my feet on the ground, and I just kind of have this little prayer or this little saying that I speak. Sometimes I say it out loud, sometimes I say it in my head, but it just helps to get me into the space that I want to be in. And so what this does is not only does it help you to get into the space that you want to be in, but it kind of lets spirit know, okay, she's ready. So if you guys have ever seen me do a group reading, then you've likely seen where I get to go through my spiel, and then I'm like, okay, spirit's like, Ashley, you're done your spiel, and they start coming in. So it's like spirit knows, okay, when she gets here, we're allowed to start interfering, or when she gets here, we're allowed to start giving some information. So figuring out what works for you. Again, no right or wrong way, but does anyone have any sort of ritual or practice that they do right now that they want to share? No? Okay. So start thinking about what you want your practice to be, or what helps to get you into that space. It doesn't have to be complicated. I know when I first started, it would take me sometimes 30 to 40 minutes to get in that space, and now I can do it in like 5 seconds. So with practice, it does get easier and easier, and it gets faster and faster, but it is something that you do want to start figuring out, start incorporating. Like I said, that way you can just get into that headspace a lot faster. Yeah, Amanda.
I actually screen recorded what you said during our session last Thursday when you were like breathe, and then so that's what I listen to every time. And I get in the space. I don't know, because
Yeah,
I
so
didn't know what else to like. I didn't know how else to get there, so I was like, well, let me just go to that. But then it kept swiping out, so then I just screen recorded it so I can just go into my videos.
that's so funny. Okay, I love that. That works.
Yeah.
Whatever. So for some people it is. It's like listening to a guided meditation, or it's a breathing exercise. Some people I know just have a word that they repeat. Like they'll say peace, 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 and they just keep repeating it until they feel that they're in that peaceful space. If I'm feeling anxious, I'll do things like I breathe in spirit, I breathe out doubt, or I breathe in spirit, I breathe out stress. You know, whatever I'm feeling, I'll literally envision like every time I breathe in, I'm breathing in white light, which is spirit, and then I exhale all the icky stuff, whatever it is that's kind of getting me down in my funk or getting in the way. So whatever works for you, but I would definitely work. This is a good point in your development to start playing around to figure out what sort of ritual, what sort of prayer, what sort of anything you want to help get you in that space. Because if you start now, you'll get in the habit of doing it every single time you go to connect, and then eventually you'll get to the point where you can just flip that switch on and off. It doesn't have to be a 5, 10, 30-minute thing. It's just the intention. It's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, and you can get faster and faster with it. Okay. All right. So I think it's important to talk about what it is that we want to look for in a reading. Because like we were saying earlier, you know, in the beginning, so all last week, it was really just about trusting what came in, not questioning it, not trying to make sense of it, just it is what it is, here we go. This week, since we want to start getting a little bit more in depth and we want to start working on our toolboxes, you know, our shorthand with spirit, a couple things that we want to try to get in a reading. You can write this down. I'll also be sure to send it to you in an email, whatever you want to do here. But when we go to connect, we want to try to get the relationship of the person with the sitter. So, and when I say sitter, that's the person you're reading for. So You want to try to get the relationship with the sitter. Does it feel like a grandfather? Does it feel like an uncle? Now, sometimes you may not know if it's a mother or if it's a grandmother. You might just feel it's a maternal energy, and that's okay. You may not be able to tell if it's someone's sister or their best friend because it just kind of has this sister-like energy. That's okay. You want to try to get in and around the ballpark if you can. And if you're really not sure, remember, we don't have to worry about the specifics right now. We just want to try to get in there. So if you're not sure if this is a grandfather, a dad, or an uncle, stick with something like, okay, I have a father figure coming through for you. It may not be a father, but it feels like someone who is like a father or filled a fatherly role for you. That'll help to kind of cover all the bases. It's a little bit better than just saying I have a man or I have a woman, because that leaves things wide open. It could really be anyone. Whereas if you tell someone I have a father energy for you, they're going to start to think about all the fatherly roles in their life, you know, their grandfathers, their uncles, their fathers and their father-in-law, you know, all those sort of people. Some mediums really like to talk about the physical description of spirit, which is okay. However, here's where I kind of get hung up with that is spirit can present themselves however they want. So if they looked a certain way when they passed, they may come through as a much younger version of themselves. And if you say, you know, I have this mother energy coming through, she's showing me really long curly hair, but she had really short white hair when she passed, the person probably isn't going to make that connection unless you're able to say, she's showing me a younger version of herself. When she was younger, did she have long curly hair? So I typically, and this is just personal preference, to each their own, I try not to do too much with physical appearance just because they can appear however they want. So unless spirit is really pushing some sort of physical aspect on me, I won't acknowledge how they appear to me. But if they're like, you know, something really adamant about like a mark on their face, or, you know, they were missing a finger or something, like, I'll validate that. So definitely the relationship, physical description is optional. Their personality is a big one. Their personality is going to help to bring forward that person, because for the sitter, what's really important is to help them feel like they're having a conversation with their loved one. So we're just the middleman. They shouldn't be having a conversation with us. They're here to have a conversation with whoever they have on the other side. So when we're able to bring through the personality, that really helps them to feel, okay, yeah, this is definitely my mom, or this is definitely whoever it is that you're connecting with. So, you know, were they a quiet person? Were they an outgoing person? Did they have anger issues? You know, were they a bit of a hothead? If you can bring through, maybe if they are showing you specific mannerisms. I've noticed before in readings, I've been connecting, and the whole time I'm sitting here doing this. I don't have a beard, you know, but I'm sitting here doing this and I don't realize I'm doing it. And the person I was reading for is like, oh my God, what you're doing? Like, my dad did that all the time. And I was like, what? Oh, like, sometimes it'll just come through. So, you know, if you can bring through personality, mannerisms, sometimes you'll be able to tell when someone had an accent, whether that's you can actually hear it or you just feel drawn to be like, I don't know, I feel like maybe they were Southern, or I feel like maybe they were from a different country. You know, sometimes you just feel it, sometimes you can hear it. But anything about their personality, anything about their traits, those are important things to come through, because like I said, that's one of those things that's really going to help to solidify for that person that yes, this is in fact their loved one that's showing up. Another thing is like their family life. If they will tell you how many kids they had, if they had kids, if they will tell you if they were married, if they've been married more than once. You know, these are specifics that would also be very beneficial. So what we're looking for is like evidence. We want to bring through as much evidence as possible of the loved one that we're connecting with. Let me, okay, this wasn't on my notes, but I feel like I need to say it because spirit won't let me move past it. Along with family life, you know, validating their children, spouses, things like that. I think it's also important, if spirit will give it to you, to validate maybe someone that they're with on the other side. Are they showing you that there's a sibling with them? Are they showing you that they have a spouse with them, a parent with them? Not necessarily that you have to connect with the person that they're showing you they're with, but it helps the family here to realize they're okay. Like they have people on the other side. They're not alone. They are connected. And that just tends to bring a bit of reassurance. Let me see. Sometimes people will also, or spirit will also bring through their job, their crafts, their hobbies. I saw this, what was it, Amanda? Who was getting the quilt, or not the quilt, the clay thing? Who was that? That was Amanda. Okay. So, and Anna. Okay. So yeah. So, you may see quilting, you may see clay work, you may, whatever their hobbies were, deck of cards, if they like to play cards, things like that will also really help to bring through that true essence of who that person is. And then I think one of the biggest things that I try to bring through for people is memories. And memories are important because not only does it allow you to, or allow the person to kind of reminisce, on some good things. They're not just thinking about how this person passed, and they're not just thinking about their grief. They're starting to relive all the good times, what made the relationship, and all those good things. So, and it's also one of those things where, and I want to say this because I want to be very honest with you, and I didn't notice this until I started doing it for a job. People will accuse you of Googling. People will accuse you of Facebook stalking. So if you can bring through memories, that's one of those things that, how am I supposed to find that out? How am I supposed to know that you went to the beach and you did this and you did on Google? Like, you're not going to find that stuff out. So especially if you're wanting to do this professionally, and this is something eventually you want to get into, to reading for other people, just be aware. People will say, did you Google? Or that was listed on my face. Well, stop posting everything to social media and then you wouldn't have that question anymore. But bringing through the validations like that, it's really going to, again, solidify that connection where they're going to be like, how did she know that? Or sometimes spirit will even tell you about a conversation that person had on the drive to you, or a conversation they just had with their mom on the phone, and there's no way that you would know about that. So being able to bring up memories or recent things that they've done in their lives, it can help them to relive those happy memories, and also to see, hey, they are still involved in my life because they know that I just did this, or they know about this. And it can be something big, it can be something little. Each spirit is different, and what they want to talk about is different. Let me see, what else do I think is important? And of course, I'm not going to expect you guys to get all of this right away. These are just some things to kind of keep in mind. Spirit will bring through pets, and it's not just dogs and cats. They'll bring through lizards, hamsters, horses, all kinds of weird things. So they will bring through pets that are both still living, pets that are on the other side. They'll a lot of times want to talk about their experience during their passing. Was there a family member who was taking care of them? Were they in the hospital? Were they on hospice? Did they lose consciousness before they passed? They'll want to talk about these things. Most of the time, it's because the loved one is left questioning, did they hear me? Did they know I was there? Are they appreciative? Did I do a good enough job? And so the loved one will bring these things up to give them that reassurance and to bring them that sense of peace and that sense of closure. And then as far as like a message is concerned, the message should usually come at the end of the reading. The message is usually going to be the shortest part of your reading, if I'm being very, very honest, because the message is typically something along the lines of, I'm proud of you, I'm okay, I'm still with you, I love you. It's I don't want to say it's a generic thing, because it's not. It will be different for each situation, but it's just kind of short and to the point, if that makes sense. It's just the reassurance. The message is usually reassurance, and then the additional sense of peace, the additional sense of closure, all of that is coming in through the different validations that they're giving. So the validations should take up the majority of your reading, the message we want to have towards the end. And then once we relay all of that, then we can open it up to our sitter and say, do you have any questions? Do you want to ask your loved one anything? Do you want to ask me anything? And just reassure them in that moment. You can't guarantee an answer because it's up to spirit on what they talk about, but you're happy to ask, or happy to kind of put the intention out there and see what you get. So I think those are the key points that I'd really like to see us bring through by the end of the 6 weeks. Because those are the things that are going to make a well-rounded reading. And like I said, in the beginning, I don't expect you to get all of it. I definitely don't. If you do, that's awesome. But in the beginning, we're going to try to get as many of these things as we possibly can. And this is going to be something where the more and more that you do it, the more and more that you read, well, then the faster and faster it's going to come in and the more details that you're going to start to get. So does anyone have any questions about what to look for in a reading or what we should be trying to get from spirit? Yeah, Lauren.
So I kind of have, and I'm sure this will be something that you probably touch on later.
Okay.
But as far as people that, like my husband, for instance, he believes, but he's also, I guess you could say, a little bit skeptical. How do you deal with someone, I guess, when you're doing those readings? I'm sure you get the people that are like, how do you get, because for me, I take everything super personal.
Yeah.
And then I know that's part of, growing, but how do you get out of your head when something like that happens?
So before I sit down and I read for people, especially someone who I can already feel is going into this skeptical, I'll tell them, I'm like, for the next half hour, for the next hour, however long it is we're connected, I'm always like, I encourage you to just be as open and receptive as possible. Allow whatever comes in to come in. Spirit knows what you need, and so they're going to provide you with what you need. It's not always about what you want, but it's what you need to hear. Be open to the unexpected. After the reading is over, if you want to pick everything apart and dissect it, that's completely okay. But I explain it to them kind of how I explained it to you guys with the energy flow of the energy needs to be able to flow. And if you're sitting there like this and you're questioning every single thing that I say, that energy is going to be hitting a brick wall and you're going to hinder your own reading. So just be as open as possible. And then what you do after the fact, totally up to you. But just kind of giving them that encouragement. But ultimately, we can't control how receptive someone else is or isn't going to be. And I don't remember, I talked about this with a couple other people in this group. So that's interesting you brought this up, because the best that we can do as the medium is to relay what we get. And then the rest is really up to the sitter. Do they want to be receptive of it? Do they want to question it? Are they going to absorb it or are they going to dismiss it? That's not on us. And there's really nothing we can do about it. But if you feel like someone is just not open at all, I wouldn't even read them. Like my husband, I've never even tried to read him because nope, not going to do it because I know he's going to question. He's way too logical. He's going to question every single thing I say. So, just if you really just get like, I can't get through to this person, don't read for them. So if they want a reading, they'll either find someone else or they'll come to you when they are more receptive. Oh, very good. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns? No? Okay. All right. So what I want to do, oh, nope, look, I'm jumping 2 steps ahead of myself here. So, well, you know what? No, I'm going to save this. I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to remind me if I forget that there's a paper that I need to go over with you guys when we get to your homework. Knowing me, I'll forget. So what I want to do is I want to jump into having you guys connect. This time, we're not going to start with connecting with your own loved ones because you've had a whole week to practice. So we're going to jump right into getting in a connection with someone else. Now, this week, I am going to show you a photo of who it is that I want you to connect with. Next week, however, we're going to start connecting blindly where there are no photos and I'm not telling you who you're connecting to. So this will be the last time during a call that I send you a photo. We'll use photos at other point in our connections, but this will be the last photo I think that we use while we are in a mentorship call. So don't get too comfortable with it. But what I'm going to do is very similar to last week. I'm going to show you the photo. I'm going to walk you through grounding, raising your vibration, same way we did it last week. And then I'm going to give you, once I get you in that space, we've invited this person into your bubble. I'm just going to sit quietly for the next 10 minutes. I'll give you guys 10 minutes in active connection. And if you need to open your eyes to write things down, open your eyes. If, you know, whatever you guys need to do, but try to get as many of the things that we went over as possible. So we're going to try to get relationship. We're going to try to get a sense of their personality. We are going to try to find out about their family life. If you can, try to figure out how they passed, what that experience looked like for them. Any memories that maybe they want to share. And I would really encourage you to try to get a message if you can. And remember, the message, don't get hung up on it. It's more so today I'd like you to focus more about those validations. And then I'll bring you out of it and then we'll talk about it. So does anyone have any questions, concerns before we move into that space? No? Feeling good? Feeling confident? Good? Yes? Yes? No? Okay. All right. So I'm going to turn my camera off so that you guys don't feel like I'm staring at you, but I will still be here staring at you. But let me go ahead. Let me show you the photo. And I'm trying to think here. A lot of you are a part of my private group, and I'm trying to think if I have used this person in any of my exercises before. If I have, I don't think I have, but if I have, try to ask her for things that you may not already know about her if you have connected with her before. But I don't think I've used her. But anyway, either way. Okay, so I'll give you a second with her picture, and then I'll turn my camera off and start walking you through everything. So this is her picture. I'll just give you a second with her energy. All right. Okay, so I'm going to turn on some meditation music. I'm going to turn off my camera. Get yourself comfortable, start breathing, and get yourself as quiet and as centered as possible. All right, so we're going to take in some deep breaths at your own pace. Then we're going to start to slow our breathing down, taking a deep inhale, hold it for a second, and slowly exhale. Just do that a few more times at your own pace. We're going to begin to ground ourselves. So I want you to envision or feel a green light in the center of your chest, all around your heart. This green light is healing, and it contains a lot of earth energy to help you ground. We're going to begin to move this light down through our chest, into our abdomen, down into our pelvic area and the tops of our thighs, through our legs, down into our feet. And we're going to feel the green light exiting the soles of our feet. It begins to make its way down through the earth. And we're just going to allow it to go as far down as it needs to be until we feel that it's wrapped itself around one of the earth's roots. We're going to begin to bring that earth energy back up through the earth, entering the soles of our feet, moving up through our legs, into our stomach, into our chest, and down through our arms. It moves its way up into our neck. And as it begins to make its way into our head, it changes color until it becomes a pure shade of white. And this white light is connected to divine source energy. It's the part of you that is all-knowing. And we're going to feel this move up past our third eye, into the top of our head. It's going to exit our head at the very top through our crown chakra. And as this white light moves up, it's going to move up past the trees, into the clouds, and it's going to keep going up until it's connected to the realm of spirit. And once you connect, you may notice that you begin to feel warm or cold. You may have a tingling sensation. Allow whatever happens to happen. And we're going to bring that energy back down into our body. We're going to connect with spirit. Now that we're grounded and our vibration is up, we're going to make space for spirit to come in. Again, in the center of your chest, we're going to envision a white light. Again, this white light is divine source energy. It is the all-knowing essence of who you are and the true essence of your soul. This white light is going to exit in front of us through the center of our chest. It's going to begin to form a bubble around us. With each inhale, your bubble is going to get brighter. And with each exhale, your bubble is going to get bigger until you are fully engulfed inside of it. Very good. Right now, it is only you and your energy inside of your bubble. When you're ready, invite the woman in the photo to come into the bubble with you and to place her hand on your shoulder. And I'll give you about 10 minutes to sit with her. Be open to anything that she decides to share with you. And we have about 1 more minute. So if you haven't gotten a message or there's anything else you want to ask her to share with you, now is the time to do so. Very good. Now we're going to begin to disconnect from her. I want you to thank her for coming forward and spending this time with you. And she is going to begin to leave your bubble, taking all of her energy with her. And now it's time to reclaim your energy. So I want you to envision we're going to bring the bubble back down into your chest, So with each inhale, your bubble is going to get smaller. And with every exhale, you're going to disconnect from anything and anyone that does not belong to you. Good. And the cords that are coming up out of the top of your head, we're going to envision cutting those cords and bringing that white light back down into your body. And we're going to do the same with the green energy that's coming from the soles of our feet. We're going to cut away that string of energy and envision that green light going back up into your body. And it's important to thank Spirit for their time and their energy. And as you bring your energy back down into your own, begin to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right, very good. So it was fun for me to watch all of you, not to sound weird, but everyone has their own look, their own, I don't know, something comes over you when you get in the connection, and it's fun to see because I don't ever really get to watch that with myself. So, so very, very good. How did everyone feel? Thumbs up, thumb down? How did you feel? Good? Good, maybe a little iffy? Okay, very good. So what I want to do is I want to go through each one of you, share your experience, what you got from me, and then at the end, I'll go ahead and we'll go through the validations. So I'm just going to start at the top of my screen and work my way down. So Cheryl, you're at the top if you wanted to go first. Not to throw you and put you on the spot there.
That's okay. So, okay. So I guess I just go with it. So I got Denise, Denise, but
Okay.
then I got sort of a Daniel as well. And this all started well before you did any bubbling.
Okay.
And then some sinus pressure, and then some pressure in my ears, and then towards the end, like a pressure in like the back of my head and my neck. I don't know if I'm a drinker of wine.
Okay.
Hosting people, like gatherings. I don't know if it's outside or gardening, but it felt like gardening.
Okay.
And when it was a very awkward hi, but she was smiling. Like, I don't know if it's because I was being awkward, but but it felt like just a big smile.
Okay.
And then I kind of put my palms up and waited a bit, and she referenced like my pinky ring specifically, but a ring.
Okay.
And then later I saw a hospital gown and maybe surgery, but some kind of a hospital stay. I was annoyed by my dogs, and I felt a validation of her having a dog too. Like, it's okay. Like, I get what that's like about dogs being annoying.
Yeah.
Again, lots of people around. And then pretty much right after you said message, I just wrote, it's true. It's true. Shh.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're fine. Did you get a feeling of who she could be for me?
Did I get what?
A feeling of who she might be for me?
I questioned that a ton. I got aunt, but that's what I got was aunt was right away too. Whenever it's right away, I'm like, what? as anyone else, I guess. You just kind of questioned everything, but I got aunt right away.
Okay. All right. Good. Thank you. Very good. All right. Isabella.
Okay. So for me, everything like kind of comes in so quick, so I really wasn't following like relation personality per se. I just wrote stuff down. But
Okay.
I got I saw like these like blue and white like kind of like china plates, like decorative plates or something, like not something that you would just go and serve people, not per se, but something you would just like kind of keep
Yeah.
in like a cabinet decoration.
Okay.
And then the 60s time period is really standing out for me. So I don't know if this was like, a major like life change, like maybe kids or marriage or family oriented. Um, I felt like this somewhat like of a pain in the side of my ear. And last time this happened to me when I was doing a reading, the person was deaf, so I don't know if maybe there's like a hearing loss or something. I also for like family life, I did get like wife and mom. The number three stood out. I'm not sure if that was like three kids, three grandkids, but the number three was standing out. And for the personality, I just kind of got like this like almost like this like ray of sunshine, like makes everybody happy, makes everybody comfortable, is very like easygoing, fun loving type person. Kind of like a homemaker type personality as well.
Okay.
Um, for memories, I got it was outside. For me, I saw like the sun setting, but there was some type of I don't know exactly like what the conversation was about, but there was some type of conversation that she had with somebody outside, and to me it looked like the sun was going to like set or something along that lines. I also saw a watch as well, and not like on your wrist, like not like a wristwatch, but like one kind of like that you would just carry with you, like that kind of hangs.
Yeah.
Um, and then I got like religious slash spiritual in a way, like doesn't really like go, I guess, like religious verbatim, like, word for word, like, strict with it, but more like on the spiritual side that's like really open about everything and, just how things happen.
Okay.
I also felt like some type of military connection, not necessarily her being in the military, but maybe somebody that she was like close relation in the military, maybe like a husband.
Okay.
Um, the color purple was really standing out for me. I saw like a quick flash of purple and then a D name. I couldn't make it out, but I heard it was the letter D that kept on coming out.
Okay.
For messages, she is doing amazing. That's what I've got for messages for you, is that you're doing amazing.
Oh, well, thanks. Okay.
You're welcome. And there's like one other thing. I got Aunt as well.
Okay.
And yep, that was everything.
Very good. All right. Very good. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Tracy. Nope, can't hear you. I might be able to hear you now. I hear something.
Okay.
Nope.
Yes.
Oh,
Is
try
it
again.
working?
Yep, there you
Can you
are.
hear me now? Okay. I don't know why it's being weird this time. Okay. So I started with and got maternal aunt and mother's side came up. I
Okay.
got a J name. I couldn't make it out, um, but I didn't know if I was putting some of that in on my own or not. Um,
Okay.
I had an image of her playing catch with a young girl. Um, my head felt very heavy. Um, I had a bunch of images. There was a bald man, and the name Lonnie came through.
Okay.
I don't know. And then there's um, green grass cutting, a push mower, old-fashioned lawn chairs, lemonade. So, I got laughter and fun parties and a host. Um, there was a hose and a garden and flowers. Um, Small dog, I got that too. And then the last thing was for the message, and she said she liked your hair and something about your daughter, but I didn't get anything more than just daughter. But the hair thing made me giggle. I was like, okay.
Okay, good. Perfect. All right, thank you. Okay, good. Let me see who's Haley.
Okay. So I as well kind of got D,
Okay.
like Deborah popped in pretty quickly for some reason. And hairstylist, or I don't really know what that means, but I did get wine, and as well two kids, two boys actually is what I kind of felt. And I was trying to ask her what her relationship to you was,
Mhm.
ironically. And I got grandmother on the paternal side is what I got. And then I was kind of scribbling half of my writing I can't even read because I didn't want to open my eyes. But I as well got the name Cheryl.
You got what name?
Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Hmm.
Good. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, very good. Perfect. All right, let's see. Mel.
Okay, well, I also got mother aunt figure.
Okay.
And then she seemed very spunky and witty and almost like hoppy, like she hops into a room and everybody notices her.
Mhm.
I actually asked her to come in earlier than you told me to ask her to come in, and she was like telling me she was kind of impatient as well, and she was like smiling with me. She seemed like she was like very loving and like liked hugs, and maybe she held on a little bit too long or a little bit too tight.
Okay.
She seemed like she might have really loved her hair and maybe been a little bit high maintenance, maybe
Okay.
a little vain, in a good way. Looks were important. For hobbies, I got that she was a talker. She was very outgoing. She liked people. Like I just kept getting a long cord to a phone, and she would just talk, talk, talk. I did get a dog come through. Memories, I got swimming in a lake or a river, and like I got balloons. And for me, what I'm starting to realize is balloons is actually like she's the life of the party.
Okay.
And then I got Anne, but I think that's more like maybe a middle name.
Okay.
I got she was divorced, and with her I seen like a big man and a small boy. And she says she's proud of you, and she's almost like spinning you around, like she's very proud. Um, and I wasn't sure if she actually belonged to you or not, or if she was like a family friend that felt you were very close to, maybe.
Mhm.
And that's all.
Okay. Very good. All right, let me see here. Sorry.
Oh,
Go
I got one more thing.
ahead.
With her passing, all I got was she made me feel very sleepy. And I've
Okay.
never had that before.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you. So I'm going back, I'm just highlighting some things that you guys have given me so far that are really standing out, because last time there were so many notes that I was like, I don't know where to look. So hold on one second. Okay, I should have done this from the beginning. I just thought about it. Okay, very good. Okay, Sorry, every time I'm like, I got it. I'm like, nope, there's more. Okay. All right. Okay, very good. Okay, Anna.
Okay. I also got like the aunt
Okay.
vibe, I guess. But I also feel like she was like one of those, you know how like a lot of people have kids, but she's like that one mom that is just like the mom that you want to be like almost like very just like the perfect mom, I guess
Okay.
you want to say.
Yep.
I did get like a 2 kid reference. I actually like saw her giving 2 kids a bath.
Okay.
Um, I for her personality also like just like always smiling, like even when she was like sad, she would be like this bubbly kind of like person.
Okay.
And then nobody has said this, but I did get the feeling that she was very, very tired when she passed away, kind of like she just said. But I also like kind of felt like could have been like a breast cancer situation, um, or a cancer situation. And then um, I also saw the number 12.
Okay.
I think that's, I'm trying to read my notes, I'm sorry. Um, yeah, other than when I asked her to come in, I got really itchy. It was really weird. Like usually when I ask like spirit to come in or like touch me on the shoulder, like I don't feel a touch. I get like almost like this like sweatiness like right from here to here. This time I like just felt really itchy.
Okay.
I think. Oh, I also did get a ring.
A ring.
Like
Okay.
yeah, that's it, I think. Oh,
Perfect.
I got one more thing. Sorry. I
You're
was
good.
getting the letter B.
B.
I didn't get the D, but I got the B, and I also felt like there was like an L name, like Elisa or something.
Say L.
Like an L, like or Elisa. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Very good. Perfect. All right. Thank you. Karina.
So, I also got like a motherly figure, kind of funny, like a giggly person, homemaker. I thought about a hair salon. Um, I started feeling like I pulled something on my right leg, but I haven't, and it feels fine now. Um, Something that kept coming to me was cheerful, maybe cheerleader, skirt. um Memories. I saw a memory of pushing a couple kids, I don't know how many exactly, on a swing like in a backyard.
Okay.
As hobbies, maybe like walking and also pool swimming. And for a message, it was I had a grand life.
Perfect. I love it. Okay. Very good. Thank you. All right. Let me see. Lauren.
Okay. So the first thing that I'm trying to make sense of my notes.
Seems to be a common theme tonight.
Um, yeah, so the first thing that I had was a super bad sharp headache,
Okay.
um, something with the head. And then I actually drew a flower going into like the roots going into the ground. So I'm not sure if she was an outdoorsy type person, but I do not draw. So that was strange. And then super annoyed. My husband. But I did get that annoyed feeling. Aunt was one of the first things that came to my mind when I asked for a relationship.
Okay.
Um, and then I asked, what happened, and I didn't really get anything, except for I had a lot of pain in my left hand, and I had the sense of feeling that it was something fast, unexpected. Um, and then I also wrote down hello, Cindy. I don't know. I usually get middle names, so I'm not sure. I feel like I got the sense of that she was very sweet, but had a short temper.
Okay.
Like, don't mess with me. um, yeah, so that's all I got so far. Oh, and aunt. I did get aunt. I don't know if I said that already.
Okay. Very good. All right. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, good. Marie.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I really struggled on this one. Like it was very hard for me to focus. Like I started feeling like sleepy and a little bit like swayy, and then in my favor, my phone started ringing. First it was my sister-in-law, ignored it, and then right after that it was my sister, and I was just, and then I have thin walls, so I can hear everything. So I had a really, really hard time focusing, and would really like to maybe go back to this on the recording and try it again.
Yeah, okay, that's okay.
So,
Do you
it
feel,
wasn't my favor tonight.
okay, do you feel like anything came through or that you got a sense of anything?
Like I had some pain around here, and then I was like very, I felt heavy and like a motherly figure. But other than that, that's when everything started. My phone's going off, and I can hear my husband loud as can be in the other room, and it was just really hard for me to focus. My headphones didn't want to work for me tonight, and I'm
Okay,
like,
good. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. And it's hard when we're at home and the whole family's home. And trust me, I get it. I work from home. They're literally on the other side of that wall right now. Okay, very good. Emotion.
So I was trying something different this time with scribbling with my eyes closed to see if that
Mhm.
would like help. And
Yeah.
it really did. It kind of cleared my mind. I wasn't thinking about other things. I don't think I actually connected because the feeling I get when I do, I didn't get that feeling. But I
Okay.
feel like from a elementary standpoint, I made I made a I helped I did a little better. The fact that I figured, come on, Chulo, stop hitting me. Figured out how to, clear my mind with the scribbling.
Good.
And I heard a plane. I think it was a real plane though, but I did hear a plane. The one thing
Okay.
that was weird about my scribbling is I thought I was like drawing all over the paper, and then it ended up coming up as like this little triangle, but I
Yeah,
thought it was like everywhere.
that's funny.
But
Yep.
that's, yeah, that's
Mine does
it.
the same thing. It's always like this. I start off and it's just like this one big ball until the paper like starts to rip and I'm forced to kind of scribble somewhere else. So good. So you feel like the scribbling kind of helped because I know last time you said you're more comfortable like in dream state. So this time the scribbling kind of helped you to feel like you got a bit more connected in your awake state.
Yeah, because I can't meditate when I close my eyes, my mind just
Yeah.
runs. So by scribbling, it kind of made it not run, like it made it kind of clear and just, you know,
Yeah.
it just helped.
Yep. Very good.
Step one.
Yep. Good. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Amanda.
Okay. I got like a whole lot of stuff like right off the bat, and then I had to like ask for things. But like as soon as you showed the picture, I got ant, and then like I started feeling like I couldn't breathe.
Okay.
Like I don't have that right now. My voice just sounds like crap, but like it immediately felt like my lungs got raspy. I don't know if she smoked, but it was like immediately like I felt like I was having trouble breathing, and it was like a raspy breath. And then I was like, I wanted to make sure that that wasn't me being sick. So like I asked again, and I got the same exact feeling. Um, immediately got pizza. It was like out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, well, let me ask some questions. It was just really random. I She had a fun personality. I know this sounds weird, and I don't want to like offend anyone or you, but I like. She told me that she would like maybe sometimes tell like dirty jokes or like naughty jokes or like she got a kick out of those. I don't know. Um, I got the impression she was divorced. I Something about a girl child on the other side with her. I don't know. Said that like a couple times. I got nurse, and then that got brought back up, and it came up like ER nurse. I
Okay.
don't know if she was on hospice, but I heard something about hospice. I asked her like for memories, and she gave me air hockey, or it sounded like shuffleboard, but then like the image I got was air hockey.
Okay.
I saw like a clown carnival game. I don't know if she lived in Maryland, but I heard Dundalk, and then like I saw Domino Sugar Factory,
Okay.
and iced tea. She showed me line dancing that she liked to dance, and then some like aerobics. I don't, I don't know. These are like all like the things that I would think it was aerobics.
Okay.
Um, she was walking a small dog. It looked like a Yorkie dog. I saw pumpkins, and then I asked for messages, and it sounded like she said "Get back, Jack" or "Hit the road, Jack." I don't,
Okay.
and that's all I got. I don't know.
I have to say, I think so far the messages you guys are giving me are my favorite part of what's coming through.
Well, I get like so much random stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what it means, but I'm just gonna trust and write it down.
Yep, that's the best thing to do. Very good. All right. Anything else?
No, that was everything.
Okay, good. All right. Let's see. Okay. Good, good, good. All right, Sarah.
Okay, so before um you even like fully bubbled, I was already seeing things. Like I saw a tree branch and like a really close up with like a yellow bird. Like it
Okay.
reminded me like a finch. So I don't know if that means anything to you, but um I I I've seen this picture before, so I tried to remain very unbiased. And it
Uh-huh.
was funny because she was very understanding to that. And she just smiled like the whole time. Like she didn't even touch my shoulder. It just kind of opened my eyes and she was there. And I was kind of like, oh, come on. And that she thought that was hilarious. Um, as far as her personality, she kept showing me like a playful eye roll. Like she would just roll her eyes really kind of dramatically and just smile. Um, but the way she gave me memories was fun. It was actually like a video, like they were like clips.
Hmm.
So like this one, I just see her waving like really big, and she has this very distinct cardigan sweater on, and it's like white and it's kind of crocheted, and the buttons are kind of big, and it's like and she makes like a show out of this cardigan. Like I can even like see the sleeve kind of like rippling, like it's weird. The sweater is important.
Okay.
Um, I saw a white picket fence, like a really tiny one, like almost like like an entryway. And I felt like a little girl like running up. It's almost like Easter, like picking up Easter eggs.
Okay.
Um, or they're very colorful. I hear Blue Jean Babe. Like I don't know if she's saying that or if there's music playing because she also showed me a clip of driving in a car, and it's an older car because then I can tell by the steering wheel. It's like very, it's like thin, like heavy metal, like it had that rubberized coating on it, and she's singing along, and like I'm understanding this to be you with her, like as very little, just kind of like singing your heart out to the radio. Um, She also showed me like taking you to a pond when you were little. Like I don't know if that's something like if you went on park walks. Like there's a picnic table. It's kind of marshy. Like I imagine feeding the ducks or like looking at little fish. So at the end, I felt a lot of pressure in the left side of my head, like right above my ear. Um, and I just wanted to cry. Like I don't know if that was like out of joy or just, it was just the connection was very emotional. I think that's how, I think that's how to describe that best. Um, and that's it.
Good. Very good. And it is hard. That's why I was thinking, like, before I showed her picture, something was like, somebody in here has definitely seen this picture before, but I couldn't remember, like, did I use it in a group? Have I used it somewhere else? So, okay. So it can be hard, like if you already sort of know something. This is why I really struggle to read for family members, because if you already know a certain something, your own ego gets in the way even more. And so you really have to set the intention to be like, disregard everything I already know and ask Spirit to give you all things that you would not know or you have no way of knowing. So yeah, very good. Okay, let me quickly highlight here what makes sense that you guys are giving me. Okay. All right, so you guys did amazing. Can I just say that? You guys did amazing. And if you couldn't tell, there were a lot of similarities, a lot of things that a lot of people picked up on, which is always interesting to me. So I want to go over just some of the things here that I've highlighted just to give you that bit of feedback. So I want to start with the D initial because a lot of people were getting D. Her name does not start with a D. However, my sister's name starts with a D, and she's related to my sister too. And her name is Danielle. I think Cheryl actually said Danielle, and my sister's name is Danielle. Tracy got a J name, so her name is Joanne. So her name starts with a J. She is my grandmother on my mom's side. So if you picked up grandmother or you picked up maternal side, that definitely makes sense. Someone also, who was it? Anna got the name Lisa. Lisa is my mom, so my grandmother's mom. So I definitely understand Lisa. She was very outgoing. She was very spunky. She was very friendly. The dirty jokes make 100% sense to me. She's just wonderful, very outgoing, very funny. Isabella said she was kind of spiritual, but also religious, which could not be any more accurate. She definitely had her beliefs, but was, she's the whole reason why I'm here today. Like, so she was definitely spiritual. You also, Isabella said you were seeing a pocket watch. So she used to have a pocket watch that was her dad's, that when she passed, I can't remember who got it. I don't remember if it was one of my uncles, my mom, but there is definitely a pocket watch. That makes sense. 3 kids. She does have 3 kids. I think it was Haley who said 2 boys. So she has 3 kids, but 2 of them are boys. So that makes sense. She was very witty. Let me see. Military husband. She did have a military husband. She was divorced. So those of you who got divorced, that was right. As far as the passing goes, that I very much understand. She was very tired. It did happen very quickly. She did pass of cancer. It wasn't breast cancer, but it was located in the chest. So Anna said cancer. So, it wasn't breast, but it was in the chest. And everything did come about very quickly. So those of you who felt like it was very quick, very sudden passing, I think we had a total of like 12 days between the time we found out and the time she actually passed. Marie said she felt pain up here in her shoulder. That was the first real big sign that she needed to go to the hospital. That's where she was feeling things, was in her shoulder. Let me see. She was on hospice care, so that makes sense. Also, Amanda, this made me laugh. So she was from Maryland, and for a while she did live in Dundalk, so that was very specific. But you said you saw a clown game. Immediately, the way I connected that, it wasn't a game, but she made herself a clown costume that she would wear to kids' birthday parties, and she wore it to my 3rd birthday party, and I have a very distinct memory of me being like, no, freaking out. So I very much understand the clown reference. Let me see. Sarah got me singing in the car. So when I was little, I pretty much told myself I was going to be a country singer. I can't carry a tune to save my life. But growing up, I thought I was an amazing singer. And then as I got older, I started to stop singing so much, because I realized I sucked. But I remember we were in the car one time and I was singing kind of quietly under my voice, and she yelled at me for it. She told me if I was going to sing, I needed to sing loud, and she wanted to hear me sing, and she loved when I sang. So I very much understand her talking about that. The white picket fence, Easter at her house, yes, 100%. Dancing, she was definitely a dancer. We did a lot of dancing together. A couple of you also said swimming, the pool. We did go swimming a lot. She did have a pool for a while there. Trying to make sure I hit all like the key points here. Oh, the playing catch with a young girl. So I used to play softball, and she was not athletic. I was not athletic, but I was giving it a good try. So we used to play catch. She used to try to help me with my very poor skills. A lot of people got dog. She had many dogs throughout her lifetime. And I do think at one point there was kind of like I don't know if he was a Yorkie, but he was kind of shaggy like that. But I do remember there was a smaller dog. A couple people got ring, and it's funny because while you guys were connecting, I walked over to a jewelry box and grabbed a ring of hers, and I told her to bring it up and show you guys. So those of you who got ring, that was good. The 60s being a time period where her life began to change, that was the year that she began having children. So my mom was born in 66. So that, my mom was the oldest. So that was the year she started having kids. Someone also got the name Anne. Anne is a big family name for us. So a lot of our family members share an Anne or a version of Anna. So that makes sense. Let me see. The blue and white china, I couldn't place that at first, but as I sat with it, I remembered I have one of her, it's not china per se, but I have one of her glasses from her first wedding, and it's blue and white. So I think it was her, I think that's what she's talking about, is that glass. Yeah, and I mean, there were a couple other things, like she was definitely that mom that everyone kind of strived to be, at least grandma-wise. I didn't know her when she was just a mom, but grandma-wise, she was definitely up there. She was a smoker. One of the last memories that I do have with her before she was placed in hospice was going out for pizza, and that was kind of the first moment where I realized something could be going on, because I noticed she was very off balance. So even though pizza didn't make any sense to you, Amanda, I immediately was like, I know why she's showing pizza. Let's see. The playful eye roll, kind of the sarcastic self, yeah, 100% her. And I think those are the things that are really standing out the most. I'm sure there were a couple other little things that came through that you guys said that made sense, but those are the things that I've really highlighted that I think are very strong validations. So that was very good. Also, who was Karina? Karina, you said you kept seeing like a skirt, almost like a cheerleader skirt. She wasn't a cheerleader, but she had to wear, when she was in school, she had to wear uniforms. And the skirt is always something that I've always loved. Every time I see a picture of her from her school days and I noticed that skirt, I was like, why couldn't I wear stuff like that to school? So when you kind of put cheerleader skirt together, I immediately connected that with her school uniform. So that could be it. And I thought it was funny, a lot of you got hair salon. So she didn't work in a hair salon, but it was interesting that quite a few of you got it. I don't know if she was trying to say she was picky about her hair, which she was. I remember one of the last times I saw her, she just had her hair back in a headband, and she kept apologizing that she didn't have her hair done. And I'm like, what do I care that your hair's not done? Why are you apologizing to me that your hair's not done? So she was kind of particular about that. So that makes sense. So you guys did a really good job. Also gardening. She did do a lot of gardening. Loved being outside. So you guys did amazing. Like, I think every single one of you picked up on something here. So how do we feel hearing a little bit of that feedback? Feel good about it? Yeah, you all did it. Like, you did amazing. I'm super, super proud of you here. So again, I want this to show that you do have the ability to do this. And today, you held on to a connection a little bit longer. Was there anyone who had trouble maintaining a connection with her for those full 10 minutes? Did anyone feel like she started to kind of back out, or you started to lose connection? Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I fully expected it. So what I want you to do this week is just practice, you know, keep up with what we were doing last week with like making time for spirit every day, but really make it a point as you're doing your practice this week to try to get as many of those key points as possible. But your homework for this week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pair you guys up, but I'm going to be pairing you up anonymously. So you're not going to know who your partner is until our call next week. So the way this is going to work is I have you already paired off. So I know who your partners are. You're not going to know who your partner is. But I'm going to ask every single one of you to either send me a private text message, send me a private email. Don't do it in a group setting. So either just private message me, email me, something, but send me a picture of a loved one that you have on the other side. If you have been participating in the group chat with submitting pictures, try to submit a photo of someone that you haven't used in that practice already, because I really want this to be something where you're not able to figure out who your partner is, and you're not able to go back and read anyone else's validations to try to get anything. So, because I want you to feel confident in yourself. So, you know, if you're like, I don't have anyone else on the other side, you know, maybe ask your mom, your dad, your sister, someone that you're really close to, if they have someone they wouldn't mind sharing with you. But however you want to get it to me, text, email, messenger, doesn't matter. But send me a picture of your loved one. If you could do that by tomorrow, that would be great. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you all out private emails containing the picture that I want you to connect with and a list of the things that I want you to try to get from that connection. If you need to sit with it more than once, that's okay. That's okay. You have a whole week. You can sit with them as many times as you want. But I really want you to try to get as much detail as you can. Again, I wouldn't worry too much about understanding what's coming in. So for example, like with Amanda, she saw pizza. She's like, I have no idea why, but that instantly made sense to me. If you see something random and you're like, I don't know what this means, acknowledge it anyway, but don't stress yourself out with trying to figure out what that means just yet. So in your connection tonight, I hope that you paid attention to the way that you felt or some of the things that showed up for you, and you can start adding those to your toolbox. So for example, if you, let me see, what do I want to use here as an example? A lot of you saw flower or you saw grass. You know, maybe that is something in your toolbox where when you see that, you know that that person enjoyed gardening, or you started to feel the weight here, and that's a representation that something was going on in the chest. Just start paying attention to the way that information is beginning to come in. If you want to write things down to help you keep track of it, that's okay. But next week, we're really going to start diving into that toolbox more. So last week, we started with just getting comfortable, trusting, acknowledging what's coming in. This week, we're making more time to get a bit deeper and ask for specific types of information and hold a longer connection. And then next week, we're really going to start saying, okay, every time I see this, it's represented this for me. So I'm going to add that to my toolbox. Every time I feel this pressure, or every time I experience something on this side of my body, it's indicating X, Y, and Z. So just figuring out and kind of, again, being self-aware while you're in that connection so that you can begin to add things to your toolbox. But so I will send you all an email. So by tomorrow, get your pictures to me. I will send you all an email sometime tomorrow containing the picture of the person for you to connect with and the list of things that I want you to try to get. If you could have your reading sent back to me, again, privately, don't send it in the group. If you could send your reading back to me privately by Tuesday, that way I can distribute the readings to everyone that they belong to, and then we'll discuss all of the validations and everything during our call on Thursday. And again, all this will be listed in the email, so don't worry about trying to remember it. But does anyone have questions about what we did today, the homework, anything at all that you want to discuss before we hop off?
Sorry.
Yeah, Cheryl, go ahead.
Just more of a comment, I guess, of like after you go through everything and after you hear everyone else, and just something as silly as, me doing this. I play with my rings. I think a lot of people play with their rings, but then I played with this one again, and then I felt the need to write it down. So,
Yeah.
but so after going through, it's just all very interesting the way that, because normally I wouldn't have thought. I also don't always wear my rings, but I wouldn't have thought anything about just touching my own ring.
Yep.
But
And when you're in, it's good that you're noticing that, because when you're in this space of spirit, especially while you're still working to get your ego out of the way, it is really normal for you to be doing something that you're unaware that you're doing, but it's actually something coming through from spirit. Like they're trying to say, pay attention to your ring, or, you could be like tugging at your ear, and then all of a sudden something clicks to where you're like,
oh, that's
oh,
not me.
right. Like I think they make your ears ring, or, so it's, yeah, that's cool. That's good self-awareness. So add that to your toolbox, that's something you're picking up on. Tracy, did I see?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I tried to fix my microphone before I talked. My question, this is a question more than, so like right now we're reading, we're not, and I've never read in front of someone for someone. I've just been alone and then talked to them after. Today was the first time I've ever done that. So is it, I'm thinking, is it easier, or is it feel different when the person that you're reading for is in front of you or with you? And does having something that belongs to them make it connection easier or bring the energy stronger?
So for some people, having an object or having a photo of the person that you're connecting with, it can really strengthen that energetic bond. But that's to each their own. For some people, they can hold an object or look at a picture and they feel nothing. Whereas other people, it's like a very strong, they'll feel that energy come in a lot stronger. So that's something to kind of play around with and figure out which way you prefer. But yeah, reading for someone who is not in front of you, whether that's in person or virtually, is very different than reading for someone who is in front of you, because when someone is in front of you, you're picking up on their energy, and you're also more likely to second guess yourself. So that's why a lot of the times when I do readings, I don't look at the person, or I'm more so looking out, coming back, looking away, because I don't want to read their body language, because that can cause you to get into your own head. So yeah, it is very, very different. I'd encourage you as we go to make time to do both, to read for people who are not in front of you, but then also step outside your comfort zone and read for people while they're right there in front of you, whether that's through video or sitting next to you on the couch. Yep, very good. Anything else? Yeah, Amanda.
Is there a way to slow the messages down? Because I feel like they're rapid fired and then it's like it goes silent.
So spirit, time is only a thing here in this world, right? So spirit, they don't use language, they use energy, and then it's our mind that sort of translates it into the energy that, or into the language that we need so we can understand it. So spirit is going at lightning rate, and we're over here like, wait, like I just started to get this and you're giving me this. And so you can have that two-way communication with spirit where you can say, you're going too fast. Can you slow things down? Or can you give this to me again? You can ask them to work with you like that, and they will. They very, very much will. So yeah, just opening up that dialogue with spirit. But that's a good question. And that's also something that you're going to notice comes with time too. The faster you get at just understanding what you're getting, what that means, and how that connects, it'll start to not be so overwhelming where it all feels like it's all coming in at one time. So very good. Anything else? Questions, concerns, thoughts? Are we sure? Okay. All right. Well, you guys did amazing. I mean it. You guys did really, really good. There's so much on this paper that I'm looking over that just makes 100% sense. So 100% sense. That was weird. So very, very good. I want you to be proud of yourselves. I want you to keep in contact throughout the week with me, with each other. Because of our homework this week, whoever you choose to share in your homework, whatever photo you decide to send me, if you're working on one another, like in the group, like you have been, please refrain from using that person, because you may accidentally send it right to the person that you're connected with, and then they know, oh, this is who my person is. So if you send me a picture of your grandma, use other people in your other connections. Just keep grandma on hold for this week. And of course, if you guys have any questions about the homework, if you have any questions about, anything at all, you know where to find me. But very, very proud of you guys. So I will get those emails to you hopefully tomorrow. So if all of you could make sure to get those pictures to me maybe by like tomorrow afternoon, then I can try to have everyone's emails sent out by tomorrow evening. But very good, very proud of you. I will get this recording to you soon, and I will talk with you all, I guess, throughout the week. So I love you all. Have a good night, and keep up the good work. All right. Bye, everyone.